Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of a gaming podcast, episode 1111. Look at that. We're double digits twice. You know, look at that. I got nothing. Sammy, how are you doing?
I'm good. Happy Halloween. We're recording this on Halloween.
Right.
So feeling extra spooky today. Doing pretty good. Did a interview that I launched today. What else have I been doing? I have my Baldur's Gate 3 articles out. So that's
you were Bulma as well.
My Bulma is launched. The Palia cosplay was last week. But yeah, just like cool gaming Halloween stuff. That's what I've been up to.
Awesome. Are you gonna be picking up any chocolate or anything like that? Halloween?
Probably not.
Discount?
I'll probably just watch more horror movies. I watched Talk to Me finally, and it's actually really good. So if you haven't watched that yet and like spooky movies, watch Talk to Me.
Okay. All right. Steve Saylor, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I finally started playing Alan Wake 2 against my own will because I was asked to do a review for it. So I was like, all right, okay, I'll do it. So I started playing it literally today. I figured, it's Halloween, might as well. And actually, you could be able to watch my first sort of 2 hours playing it on my other YouTube channel, my alt channel, Blind Gamer Steve. You'll find that there. So I've been, I was playing that. I'm going to play a little bit more of it tonight. I like it, but I hate the jump scares. Oh my God, I hate the jump scares. I hate it so bad. I hate it so much. And it's too many of them within the first few minutes. Sucks. Anyway.
It's doing its job. It's doing its job then.
That's why I didn't want to play in the first place. I hate jump scares. I like psychological, horror and like thriller. Because another thing I was going to suggest is like if you're looking for horror things to watch, The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. Amazing show. Amazing, creepy, spooky show. If you're into gothic, like it's Edgar Allan Poe, it's perfect. It's a great show. It's Mike Flanagan who made like Midnight Mass and The House of Haunted Hill and for Netflix too. So it's really good show. But see, I like that kind of horror. But anything that's a jump scare for the sake of jump scares, it's a cheap tactic.
I get it. I agree with you with that. Those are very cheap scares. I want something to like mess with my mind and being like, I don't want to pick up the phone or see anyone for like days.
Exactly, because so far what I've played of Alan Wake 2, it has a kind of like a true detective kind of vibe, but with like a little bit of like supernatural kind of thrown in. I know it's going to get worse, but
so much worse.
Yeah, so
awesome.
I'm enjoying the ride so far, but I know it's going to get worse.
Oh man, Steve V, what's going on, man?
Oh man, spooky vibes all around. Yeah, I'll echo what Steve Saylor just said. I mean, Fall of the House of Usher is phenomenal, and I think one of Mike Flanagan's best projects to date. Yeah, I binge watched that, getting ready for Halloween. Probably going to watch some more spooky stuff after we recorded this episode. But then also, I know we're going to talk about just right after this, but Alan Wake 2, oh man, I can't wait to gab about this game because it definitely put me in the Halloween spirit, that's for sure.
Amazing. Well, you know what? Let's gab away. How is Alan Wake? I haven't had a chance to try it out yet. I have seen some people play it, but I haven't had a chance to try it out. So why don't you take it away, Steve? V, that is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've been anticipating this game for 13 years, if you can believe it or not, ever since playing the original. I was like, I want more of this. Sadly, they moved on to Quantum Break, which I definitely appreciated at the time. I thought that was a revolutionary idea from Remedy. And then they went over to Control, and I was like, cool, we're getting weird, unique games from this creative house, and I appreciated that. But it wasn't until they dropped that crossover, the piece of DLC for Control, I was like, hold up now, wait a minute, are we actually doing this? And since that time, I've been just like banging the dole drum, trying to get more and more people onto the Alan Wake train, because I think it's a really unique and special game, especially for being quaint.
I love that they
time.
added that little thing in there. It's like, it's been a crossover. It's in the same universe all along.
Absolutely. And no, I mean, yeah, in hindsight, it's a little funny to think about, oh yeah, we've thought about this since day one, baby. And it's like, all right, sure, Sam, like, I'm sure you did. Yeah. But yeah, just Alan Wake 2, I am blown away. Let's just say that. I mean, Remedy had me from day one, like I said, but going into this game, the first like hour and a half, like Steve Saylor was saying, was like, okay, I'm getting like some real true detective vibes. This definitely isn't what Alan Wake the original is at all. They introduced the new character Saga, and it's largely like her story right off the rip. So you're kind of just kind of getting used to these new characters and everything. But it isn't until like you're reintroduced to Alan that you're like, oh, they're doing something like I've never seen before from a survival horror game at all. I think in a year, 2023, in a year that we've been inundated with, you know, Dead Space remake, Resident Evil 4 remake, Alan Wake 2 just kind of like knocks their teeth and just says, okay, we're making you all feel like they came out when they did. Like they make them feel antiquated at this point. Like this is, in my opinion, what like the way I've been thinking about it is like Alan Wake 2 right now is what Midsummer is to, say, Night of the Living Dead, where they're both like very horror. Like you can say like one's a contemporary piece of modern day horror and the other is just a classic, meaning like Dead Space, Resident Evil. They're of the times. Sure, they have a nice little coat of polish. They're brought up to what 2023 standards are, but they are of like a before time. Alan Wake 2 is modern as hell, and there was a section in this game where I was like, oh, this proves to me like this validates new gen consoles. They could not have done this on Xbox One, PlayStation 4. Like there are some really cool stuff that just would not happen on any other piece of hardware. And like to me, this feels like a modern survival horror game, the best, the purest way possible. And I in a lot of ways, I know I'm rambling here, but like in a lot of ways, I appreciate what Remedy is able to do. I appreciate what Sam Lake's able to do because they just can get away with whatever they want. Similar to like Kojima, where he can just go off the rip and just make whatever comes into his head. And I'm so happy that Remedy's in that similar situation where they're like, we'll just create this really crazy, really cerebral kind of horror game. And it's super deep, it's super meta, and if you're into it, great. If not, you're probably going to bounce off really quickly. But I'm all in for this game. I adore this top to bottom.
I must say with Sam Lake, he is pulling a Kojima because he put himself in a game like twice, I heard, or something like that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Live and 3D as well. Yep. I was like, damn, all right. I know you made the game and all, but yeah, you're right.
Now, do you have to play the first one to enjoy the second one, or could I just like hop right in?
Oh man, to me, it almost feels like, and I hate to because it kind of comes off as like a gatekeeper purist kind of way, but I do think authentically you should at least play Alan Wake, the first one, because this one is very like meta in its storytelling. Like there are concepts and pieces of dialogue that might just go over your head. Again, I don't know. I've played Alan Wake so many times now that that's kind of just baked into my brain, so that when they reference characters or they reference like locations from Alan Wake and Control, I'm like, oh, I understand it. I don't know if it would have the same like punch if you missed out.
I will say from my perspective, because I've only played like the first 2 chapters of Alan Wake 1. I've always kept meaning to go back to play it because I have the remastered, I think, on like now 3 different consoles now, or like including PC that I can just go in and play. I will say, I think, because Sam Lake did say that if you've never played the first game, you could be able to go in and play this because you are playing a character in Saga. In that she's essentially the audience's way into the story. Okay. So as she's learning stuff, you're learning stuff about the world. I think it essentially so far for me, I'm enjoying it, even though I know a little bit about like Alan Wake. I think because they also did put out like a previously on Alan Wake, which I think actually kind of really could help, kind of at least get you some basics of it to kind of get you in. I mean, I agree. I think probably playing Alan Wake first one, and obviously even playing some of the DLC. I think what was the DLC they made for Alan Wake? The first one,
American Nightmare.
American Nightmare. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, do you need to play that as well?
Roads, that's what it was.
Well, I was just like quickly looking on Steam. Honestly, right now for like the full bundle of everything, it's $20, and if you want just the base game, it's $4.37 Canadian.
Oh,
So,
see, there you go.
You know, you
yeah.
might as well pick it up.
So
I'm
free in
at that right
America
now.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, free in America. Yeah. So I would say, so far for me, I think yes, I agree with Steve. It's like being able to like understand the nuances and the context and all the extra stuff that you would normally get if you had played the first one would help. But I mean, so far for me, I'm like I'm kind of at least enjoying it. I know it's going to get worse, and there probably is more stuff that I'm going to get into that will probably be a little bit easier to understand if I had played the first one, but. I mean, so far I'm liking it. I will say, from my perspective, though, the accessibility kind of sucks.
I could see that. Just even in my position where I'm like, oh, I can definitely see how this would be a hindered experience for some people.
Yeah, and it mostly kind of comes down to it's weird because Control had actually some very decent accessibility in it, including like when they in a future or in a post-launch update, they actually put in there an assist mode, which actually helped out me a ton when I was trying to be able to play Control. And it seemed as if that, okay, you know what, Remedy was like now learning more about accessibility, and they're experimenting, they're trying new things. So it kind of had a little bit of hope in the community to hopefully that Alan Wake 2 would sort of expand on that. But in a way, it seems that Alan Wake 2 kind of went backwards and definitely didn't include some of the things that they had included into Control. Now, it could mean that they could still, do post-launch update. They've already announced that, I mean, they're going to have, post-launch DLC anyway. So it's like that's like just based off of you've bought the digital deluxe edition, you're going to get the two new things they're going to release later. So we are going to get updates, but whether it's going to have any accessibility, I have no idea. But this is, for me personally, it's very hard to play because it's super dark. Like, not in tone, but in like, it's hard to see. It is extremely hard to see in this game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fortunate in that I have like an OLED display, which has helped because I can see there being like some contrast issues, at least off that, just playing like on my other TVs and displays and everything like that. So definitely recommend if you have something with like heavy support for HDR, that would certainly help, especially in some of the Alan Wake levels. The other thing I will say on Xbox, there's a really bad audio sync problem going on.
I wondered that. I had that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bummer. I thought it was just me, maybe, or
Same.
Just the.
It was the first like night or two, and I was like, man, is my sound bar going out because I just bought this thing, and I was going to be super livid if there was an issue going on there, and I was like, man, this really sucked. And I saw other people having it on Xbox Series X specifically, and I know that Remedy is addressing it and they know of it, so that's great.
Bummer, because that's what I bought it on, and I was like, I want to give it a try, and actually, yeah, because it literally cut out within the first few seconds of the game, like after there's like a little bit of like monologue at the beginning, but then it's like right after that, audio completely cuts out altogether, and I had to quit and then start it back up again, and then just sort of like it was just a little bit off sync to be noticeable.
Exactly, and I think that's the worst part. I'd rather there be like such a major delay that it's almost comical, but when the audio and subtitles are so delayed that I'm like by like a millisecond, I'm like, oh, this is stinky. This is ruining my experience now. But hopefully they figured that out. But otherwise this is to me. What I know, again, we're going to talk about some Game of the Year nominations, but the hits keep coming this year, baby.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, and oh man, I'm so happy that we have like auteurs in the gaming space like Sam Lake, like Remedy, that are able to just have these like uncompromised creative visions and just get weird with games. Because Steve, you're talking about already getting spooked in that first couple of chapters. You don't know anything, baby. Like last night, I was talking with a friend of the show, Dapper, and I was like, I reached this place. I'm not going to spoil anything here. I'm not even going to there was a place where like I audibly started swearing at my TV on like a rapid clip because of what was happening in front of me. I was like, you sons of guns. Like,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that makes me excited. I love being scared. So
there is masterful use of horror in this one section, and it got me so good. They lulled you into such a false sense of security, and then boom, like just flipped it on you, and I was like, oh man,
that's good. That's good. That's good.
Remedy Entertainment, and I love you, Sam Lake, for that.
I don't know if I want to play this now. I keep hearing about how good it is, and I'm like, I don't know how far I can. Oh, damn it!
Are you doing a playthrough? Are you doing a playthrough, or are you just doing like the review?
I had thought about doing a playthrough because
I think you should do it.
You should definitely, because I want to see your reaction in this one moment. I want to see. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will go as far as I can before I'm like, I had to like tap out.
All right, I'm out. You just like shut the system off. I'm never touching this game again. Yeah, I must say visually the game looks amazing.
Though. I'm gonna do it in. I'm not gonna do it in like multiple hour playthroughs at a time. I'm gonna go in chapters. If I can do it in chapters, then at least it breaks it up in like little parts. I think it's a little bit more manageable for me. So I'm gonna try it that way. But man,
it's like what, a 20-hour game?
Yeah, this one bumped it up.
Oh, actually. Okay, actually, that's not bad then.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And then the first one's around 10, right?
10 hours.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm
Marcel, I wanted to touch on what you said, like the game's visual aesthetic.
Oh, it's amazing.
This is personally, I'm playing it on Series X, like I mentioned. I think this is like one of the best games I've ever played on the Xbox. I mean, on PlayStation, we've had games like Forbidden West and stuff like that visually pop and everything and kind of justify new gen consoles. But I don't think I've ever played a game this gorgeous on an Xbox.
I will admit, it does look really great. Yeah. Like at the beginning, you're kind of like walking through the forest. I won't say where specifically but it is absolutely gorgeous. Like you can see like the horizon you can see off in the distance is
my God.
It's just gorgeous, and the way that the sun kind of like hits, in kind of the shadows of the leaves and everything. And then the rain when it kicks in, it is absolutely a gorgeous game and totally sets the tone for what to expect. And I know that it's like totally luring me into like a total sense of I know there's danger, but I don't know where.
Right.
Yeah. I would say that this is the first game that I had to question. I'm like, okay, is that real? Is that a real person, or like I had like it's visually impressive?
I was gonna ask though, so like those clips that are in all of like the trailers, is it like real filmed or is it all mocap?
So there's both. They do live action stuff. There's like a brilliant host segment, like a late night talk show segment that's all like live action. They also have like little commercials in the game that you can find. They're live action as well. But then you have like your standard, in-engine cutscene stuff, and then also like pre-rendered, what I'm assuming is like mocap, like higher res stuff as well. So it really threads that line all the way through which you like, is this live action? I can hardly tell in this very moment.
Yeah.
That is actually like Remedy's MO, is that they blend in live action stuff within the game. Like they did it with Control. There's like these training videos that or like these workplace videos that you watch on screens, and they're all like shot in live action. Even in original Alan Wake 1, there's these like sort of like Twilight Zone type TV shows, Night Springs, that are also shot in live action that you get to watch like on little TVs in there. So I figured like there was probably some live action stuff in this. I hadn't seen it as of yet. But it like either way, still like the character art is just gorgeous. Like seeing Sam Lake in a game, like also not hearing his voice, but like it's almost like Sam.
Right. Oh yeah.
Is that real you or is that digital you? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny because like there's like Sam Lake mocapped as a character, as a detective, and then there's Sam Lake like as another character, like 2 steps into like the meta, and you're like, what is
it's breaking my brain?
What's happening right now? Like it's so much Sam. He's everywhere. But I really hope that they add like some sort of photo mode into this game, because I've been spamming that button, just like going into the settings, quickly turning off the HUD, like setting up the perfect shot, but it's always like the back of the character, and I'm like, I would love to do like a 360 kind of get their visual, but hopefully they can do something, because it just seems like such a shame to have a game this gorgeous and not do something like that with.
That is wild. So it's available on Xbox, Xbox Series X, S as well, I guess, right? PS5 and Epic Game Store.
Epic Game Store. Digital only.
It's only $66, which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
That's $66 Canadian too.
Canadian, yeah.
Canadian as
Normally
well.
we're talking like $80-$90 usually, so that's pretty good.
The digital
I think it was
era.
like 76. I think it was like when I bought it off of Xbox. So I don't know what the $10 extra to Xbox was for, but whatever.
That console.
Yeah, that console fee. I guess.
That game pass fee, you know. So
All right, yeah.
It's not even on Game Pass. That's the problem.
that's why you got to pay extra for it.
Damn it.
So with us, like, you know, going from horror games, sadly we had to announce some sad news here with Bungie laying off some employees, which is very our hearts go out to anyone who's affected to with any layoffs, which is kind of a little upsetting. A lot of people got mad at the CEO who came out being like, "Hey, all these people are amazing. They're great, talented people," and I'm like,
total bad call.
Yeah,
total bad call.
What are you doing? Like, you made this call, and now you're like, "Hey, these people are amazing. Everything. They should be hired right away." I'm like, why didn't you keep them? You know, didn't
It's
they?
almost like someone should have told them that would have been a bad social post to make. Oh wait.
Bad,
Oh wait, he got rid of them probably. You're like, oh, you're out too. Get out of here. So, and it's kind of weird because didn't Sony buy Bungie for like billions of dollars or
like a 1 billion. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like. I mean, we're not talking like Bethesda, Activision numbers kind of thing that Microsoft paid, but they did buy them for at least a significant amount of money, and
3.6 billion.
But that was the reason.
Okay.
But that was the reason to keep everyone. That was one of the things
it was supposed
that
to.
said.
Like they said, they were not going to be doing any layoffs, and then cut to what was a year later, not even
year and a half,
and they're like, and they're already like, I just literally just saw apparently like Jason Schreier basically kind of came up with a new thing 20 minutes ago. Apparently they said that they laid off 8% of their staff, or which is around 100 people. 2 weeks ago, staff were told they were projected to miss revenue targets by 45%. And they all, like, apparently even Pete Parsons, head of Bungie, basically said that they're having to cut travel costs, as well as implementing salary and hiring freezes, and basically not making it exactly the greatest place to be able to work at morale wise now with the people that are left. And it sucks. I mean, I have a very close friend of mine who was there. She was a very prominent figure in the community, Liana Rupert, who formerly Game Informer, and she was the community manager over at Bungie. And she was unfortunately one of the ones let go. And it's extremely sad to see, because I mean, when you have that, like, I don't understand how that kind of position within a game studio is kind of seen as redundant and can very easily be sort of cut when it comes to laying people off, because those are the people that that players trust the most to be able to give information about what is happening. They are the messengers, literally, from the studio to the community, and it is an extremely hard job to be able to do, because they have to weather all the harassment that none of the developers usually get, unless you're a developer that's online already. They're weathering all of that, plus also having to be able to communicate when things are good and when things are bad. And when you take away all those people that are there, that basically the community is now trusts, now that trust has gone away. Now with Bungie, and I am a diehard Destiny player. I've been playing Destiny since 2018. I'm not as diehard as some of my friends who've been in it since the very beginning, but I've been playing Destiny since 2018. And I am this is the first time that I'm like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to play. This hurts me to my core that they have to resort to laying off. And apparently this wasn't a Sony thing that was making jobs redundant. This was within Bungie itself. And they decided to do this instead of, I mean, I know the conversation can easily go into capitalism is bad and it's always the people at the higher up. But in reality, it is like you couldn't find any other cost saving measure than literally just to cut jobs. And in a year where we're supposed to be celebrating probably the best year that we've had in terms of many Game of the Year nomination or nominees for so many Game of the Years we've had in 2023, there's now been over 6,000 people that have been laid off, and it is one of the worst years in the gaming industry. And this is just now like you're going into the holidays now with this, like just before Thanksgiving in the States, and it's just it is like layoffs are horrible everywhere. I mean, I've been through it in a different industry, but it just sucks that now it's like another large studio. Because they think that they're losing their record-breaking profits are basically like, oh no, the first thing that has to go is people. We got to get rid of some people.
Yep.
And
it's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Like honestly, layoffs have been happening so much like last year and this year. Like me in February got laid off, and it made me feel like obviously it's horrible, but I saw like Google was firing people. A bunch of like these massive industry giants that have bajillions worth of money, so many layoffs. And I thought we were done, but apparently not. And it's really sad to see. My heart goes out to all the people at Bungie, all the people at other companies that are being let go right now. I feel you as a social community manager that always is the first one to get chopped as well. I feel you. I hear you. It's not about you. Going forward in the job hunt, it can be very daunting, but just remember, unfortunately, it's not about you. So as you're applying to things, like obviously it's your livelihood. It should be very, it's just from a company standpoint. I've applied to a bunch of jobs. I have so many friends who've applied to like over 300 jobs, and we're in. It's unfortunate that now we're in the case that where it'd be like 50 applicants for one job. Now it's like 3,000 people for one job. So like, what do you do?
It's even worse because it's like the companies that like have jobs available. Those are the only jobs that are available because everyone else is in a hiring freeze. And it's like everyone seems to be battening down the hatches. And yet like video games has been making record-breaking profits for like since the pandemic, and we're
not seeing it on the human level at all.
Exactly. Like it is like it's the only medium that literally made money during the pandemic, and yet we're like and it's like we're not immune to basically these layoffs, and the fact that it's like it just sucks because it's always the people at the bottom and never the top.
Especially like a year like this, like where there's been a tremendous year for gaming. Everyone's up in like high praises for gaming. Such great quality of games that are coming out. And then, after you think you get a pat on the back, oh, good job, you don't realize that pat on the back is actually pushing you out the door as well. Like that doesn't it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I've never seen where things are going so well for gaming, at least, where people are still getting laid off at this high rate as well. Like I can understand a little layoff here and there, or like, 5 people there or 3 people or someone switching studios. But like just being like, oh, well, we made this record we sold this many. Well, we got to get rid of like of 8% of you. Like the Immortals of Avium, the whole studio got wiped out because they're like, oh, we projected this number of sales and then we only made this number of sales, so all of you are gone. Like that's
I need another boat. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, like it's so like I don't know. It's kind of like it's very depressing in a way. So I must say.
Well, Steve Saylor, I saw your tweet about like the community coming together, making like a job fair or something. Like I definitely think you're onto something there.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, because I was trying to think of like, there has to be like, because obviously, we're all saying like, our in a weird sort of, way to say it, like our thoughts and prayers are with those who were laid off. But I was like, there has to be something that can be done for those who have been laid off that like, because it is hard to be able to find jobs. And I kept seeing a bunch of people being like, hey, we have jobs over here at this studio, or we have jobs over here at this studio. Make sure to apply, or, let us know. And I was thinking, I'm like, well, what if there's like a job fair for those who just specifically for those who have been laid off? Sure, yeah, those who've been looking for work for a while can also, be a part of it too. But having like hiring managers and recruiters basically there that they can be like, have interviews with like virtually, like so that way they can at least, connect with someone instead of just, just dropping off or sending off an application kind of thing. And thankfully, actually, so a guy Youngberg who runs the games industry gathering or the gig saw that, and I think think if you're in the gig, basically, I think he's starting to set up something in their Discord for something like that. So there's been a few folks talking about it. I'm not involved in that. I have no idea how to set that up, so I don't have any power in it or whatever. But I'm glad at least it got hopefully maybe something going, because it's just horrible to be able to see these folks that they move across the country or move across the world to work at these studios, and some of them again, Liana, working at Bungie was her dream job. That was working for Destiny. Destiny was her favorite game of all time. And she was working there for 2 years, and she loved what she did. I got to work with her for a thing for Destiny last year. And we were just basically talking so much, just having so much fun talking about Destiny, and just enjoying, even though she wasn't able to share any specific information was coming, but we were able to geek out about Destiny. And to see that that dream job is gone, it just hurts so damn much.
I think beyond that, I mean, you talk about how much passion she had, and I'm sure that goes across the board for everyone that worked at Bungie and everything. But what I don't think that any executive really understands is how much these people create the personality of their games, and how much getting rid of them removes that. Because I mean, they're talking about Lightfall, whether or not you like Lightfall or you didn't. That was made by people who knew the game, understood the game and everything, and then we're gonna come back for the final shape and all that. I mean, they even laid off Michael Salvatore, who went. That to me was Bungie just is off the rocker at this point. They have lost the plot of what's going on right now, because removing these people, you're just losing the spirit of the game. And it's the exact same thing that I always go back to, Telltale. We all wanted Telltale to come back, and it's well, you're not getting Telltale, you're just getting a name. And it's the same thing here, where Bungie Final Shape could come out. It could be a great game, it could be a mediocre game, but it's not the game that was originally supposed to be there, made by the blood, sweat, and tears of the 8% that were removed from that project. Whether or not they had any hand of going into the lore or anything, they were still there, influencing the community, influencing the culture there. You can't replace that, even if you try, just putting up a job board down the line or anything like that. It's really unfortunate, and I think for someone like me who's grown up with Bungie, they were my studio going all the way back to the Halo days. I always championed this studio, because they seemed to be the ones that always took care of their employees, as far as I knew, even in the days when things weren't going great, the Destiny 1 days when things looked pretty dire for that series. I was no, they're gonna make it out, because it seems like they actually care, and they're only growing, especially even when they went in with Activision and everything. As far as I know, and maybe I'm just misremembering, but it seemed like they were one of the good ones under the Activision umbrella, where they're no, we're retaining our people, we're keeping them in house, we're not even when we're forced to go into this microtransaction era and everything, we're gonna make sure that we don't compromise our culture. And seeing it on the other end, where they went independent, now they're under Sony, it's so now is it just the money got to you guys, and now there's a few higher ups there that just wanted an extra, like you said, Sammy, an extra boat at the end of the day, or a nice little Christmas bonus. It's really unfortunate. I think
I'm all for I get it. It's okay, sales obviously weren't if they're saying if the reports are true that it didn't hit 45% of the sales that they were projected, which I get, because Lightfall didn't exactly hit the way that I think that they wanted to. But I mean, here's the thing too. I keep going back to there's this one story that kind of comes up every once in a while, where it's usually around these times, is that the Nintendo,
I was just about to bring that up. Thank you.
Their executives basically took a pay cut just so that they didn't do any layoffs, and I'm why isn't that an option? What I was about to say, you care about the employees. You say they're the best that you have. They would recommend them 1,000% to be hired at anywhere. Well, why didn't you fight to keep them?
Yeah.
So for that one, it was actually I was actually just gonna bring that up. It was actually Satoru, and this is why at times I miss him, because he was one of my biggest icons as well. Satoru Iwata, and it was when the 3DS wasn't selling so well, and he said, "Hey, I'd rather not get my annual bonus I'd rather just give that back to the employees. I'd rather not lose any employees and just not miss out on a bonus. And that's basically what he did that year. And I want to see more, like, the higher ups take more initiative in this. Like, why are we getting people who are putting blood, sweat, and tears and their passion behind this? Like, they're here making their story, and they don't even get to have a chance to finish their story, and they're just in a way you kind of make them just seem like a pawn in a way, you know. So
yeah, I mean, even if the bonuses are like, because usually the bonuses are in the millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you take like 1 million, that's enough for at least 10 employees to be able to have $100,000 salary. Like, and it basically you do that 100. So basically, what? So for the 100 people that are there, regardless, okay, like we'll just say like 100 million, like 100,000 base salary, you know, because obviously you got to live in Seattle. So, or actually, no, technically, Bungie is you can work virtually, you can work from home. They actually had that where a lot of different places around the states you can work from home, and you didn't have to move to Seattle to be able to work with them. So you have $100,000 salary. If 100 people got let go, so what? Just basically take 10 million out of those bonuses. What, you can't spare 10 million out of the 8? What? How many billions of dollars did Sony pay for them? What was it? Did you say
3.6?
3.6.
Yeah.
It's a percent
Billion.
of a percent.
With a B, yeah, exactly.
With a capital B.
Capitalism.
Well, yeah, and I really think that moving forward, we need to start holding like the higher ups to the fire at this point. Like, and I know it's such a difficult cycle because every week we're on to like the next developer that, you know, laid people off or angered us or did something to kind of vie for our attention and everything. But again, it's so hard because, you know, we're trying to celebrate games. We're trying to point out the positives in this industry at the same time. So it does kind of become like separate the art from the artist in some weird way, where it is like, no, let's appreciate what the developers are doing, but still, you know, holding these higher up business suit dummies out there accountable for these pretty atrocious decisions. I mean, there's even like that whole report from Paul Tassi talking about how they laid them off on the 30th because by the end of the month their everything, like their benefits aside from health insurance, they cut out by the end of the month, or how their stocks revert back to Bungie because they didn't last more than a year after the sale or after the acquisition. It's like these are money grubbing tactics made by, you know, a person in a boardroom, not made by a developer who's passionate about a project, who wants Destiny to succeed, who wants to get Marathon up and running. These are just, you know, Paul and Tim sitting in a boardroom just being like, how can we smoke more cigars and buy more expensive scotch? Because that's all we want to do.
Oh, we bought the wrong one. Oh wait, we got to buy the other one and all type.
Yeah. Well, that
Whoops.
Oh, Paul, sorry. That's going to be 2 employees. I guess we got to get rid of
I got
them.
you. Yeah.
Oh, we'll get rid of, you know, Salvatore, one of the best composers in the industry. Okay.
Yeah, actually, so apparently I just read that it's not just him. Like there was another composer that also got let go because on his website, because on Salvatore's website, basically like all his work, basically all he just said was gone fishing. And then there's a new composer, or the other composer worked at Bungie. His thing is now gone fishing with Michael Salvatore.
Like, love that solidarity. But yeah, like Destiny's music is iconic. Some of the best in the industry. And you just let that guy go. You don't know what, like, I'm sorry, but Bungie, if you're one of the people responsible for that decision, you don't know what's going on anymore. You are so far gone. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, that Deep Stone Lullaby, like it's probably my favorite track of Destiny 2. And it is the most beautiful piece of music that I've heard in a video game in a long time. And
I literally wrote an essay on the Destiny 1 soundtrack in university because I was just like such a big fan of it. Oh,
it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What course was that?
I went to film school, man.
That's wild.
You get a lot.
Yeah.
You get really weird in film school. Trust me.
I'm just hearing more and more people writing more about video games. I'm like, where was this when I was in school? I didn't write about any. If we wrote about video games, you just automatic fail. They're like, what are you doing?
Anything I could attach it to, I'd be like, oh, video game references. Video games, a visual form. Let's do that.
That's awesome. Well, without surprise, of course, the final expansion is also delayed as well, and also Marathon on top of that as well. But like at this point, like
they have absolute no brand trust out the window. Like, not anymore.
And like if these ones go like like don't sell well, like that's on your decision there. But like there, of course, will be people who will have to pay the price for that one as well. So
Great. More from Jason Schreier, basically saying that, weak player retention after Lightfall. Final Shape getting good, not great feedback, quote unquote. It's been delayed for improvement, because that's one thing we didn't mention, that Final Shape was supposed to come out in February. They're now delaying it supposedly till June, and Marathon's going to be delayed till next year. But they didn't really have a announced date for that one anyway. So I guess this new that it was supposed to come out next year. And then also this is this makes me extremely mad. They said some cut roles are getting outsourced. I'm like, fuck you.
No.
Fuck you, Bungie. Like, come the fuck on.
They're going to Fiverr.
They're going to Fiverr and getting it cheaper because you couldn't afford to be able to keep the people that actually are passionate about their own jobs and want to keep their jobs and love their jobs. And you don't want to pay them a fair wage? Okay, great. Yeah. So outsourced. Awesome. Fan-fucking-tastic. I hate this industry.
They're the real demons today.
Absolutely.
I mean, it takes a lot to be able to it takes a lot to be a worse of a demon than Tim Sweeney laying off 900 employees at Epic. But man, did Pete Parsons take the cake this week? Fuck.
They're just trying to outdo each other. They're all just sitting in the Zoom call and they're like, "Hey, I got you. Hold my beer.
I raise you this, like that, like, oh my God.
I am literally going to go into my Bungie Net account and I am going to refund my pre-order for Final Shape.
You're right here, folks.
That's it. You heard it here.
This is stupid. This is stupid.
It's kind of crazy, and not to, we don't have to go into like a long tangent about this, but it is kind of crazy to think like Destiny and Bungie, they're supposed to be the ones paving the road for games as a service. They've set in the bar and everything. So Lightfall, I can understand not everything is going to hit, but then to hear, we have to delay, the Final Shape now up to almost 6 months because it's good, not great, not setting expectations, and then Marathon getting delayed as well. It's like, that's not great for someone who's, supposed to be the one to go and vet Naughty Dog of all studios and be like, well, your game as a service isn't, up to snuff as well. It's like, are we? I don't know.
Why is the guy doing the projections? Like, not
Like
that's
they probably just
are you calculating correctly? Like, what's going on? Oh God. Like,
they probably got the same guy from Square Enix be like, this sold millions, not up to expectations. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Babylon Falls and all that stuff.
Final Fantasy 16, only one of the greatest RPGs of the last couple of years, not up to expectations.
Just bring it to PC, because everyone's waiting for the PC version because they saw the PC version first and then they were like, oh no, PS5 only. I'm like, you said at the bottom, this is PC.
That was a typo.
It's P and C. Yeah, the biggest typo in the world.
My cat walked on my keyboard. That was a typo, guys.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the day like if sales don't go well, like the executives get they get like the fine for it. Yeah. Like, hey, you know what? These are your people. You get fined for it, and you deal with it. And like cut up the snuff or something like that. Like it's not. I don't know. It's.
Go on like a reverse pyramid kind of thing. Like, cut out the the top first, and then work your way up to the middle management, and then the everyday devs and workers there.
Yeah,
let them have a break. Let them have 5 years where they don't have to worry about their family.
Exactly, and then
I don't know.
Especially working remote, like people not even going to the studios. Everyone's working remote. Like cost has gone down for them. Like what? Like how much money have you been saving from that alone? So anyway, our hearts go out to everyone there and affected, and hopefully you guys are able to get some jobs in the near future. So with Capcom now, we're going to move on to some Capcom news, because according to Capcom, to the Japanese Q&A section published alongside its earning results this week, they have a major, quotes, unannounced title game come out this fiscal year, and their fiscal year ends March 2024. What the hell are they going to be bringing out now? Is it Monster Hunter World, you guys think, or I don't know what else they got. They Resident Evil. It can't be Resident Evil 9.
Well, we already know Resident Evil 9's coming out, but I feel like that's too early.
The last one just came out for that.
Yeah, and although
And March is right there. I'm just going to say.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is usually they're pretty upfront of being like, hey, we're gonna hype up a Resident Evil game. We're gonna give it, their trailers at the state of plays and stuff like that. Them being pretty quiet about it. Although I know we know about 9 via the Nvidia leak and everything. It just feels like maybe it's down the line, like maybe a 2025 game. But Monster Hunter World sounds right.
Yeah.
I also feel like Resident Evil doesn't need like, oh, here it is, like at the Game Awards, and then like 3 months later it's out. I feel like Resident Evil is more of like, here it is at the Game Awards, see you next year type of vibes. You have
Or
to wait
if
for
not,
it.
like 2 years.
Yeah. But like Street Fighter's already out. It had like Devil May Cry, maybe.
That's a good point. Yeah, there could be another Devil May Cry. It's been quite a while. But again,
what else they have? Dragon's Dogma.
We already know about that.
Yep. Exo Primo 2, it's coming out already. The sequel's already out.
Quick sequel on that one, yeah.
It's so good, gotta make it again right away. It has to be Monster Hunter World, because I know that's a lot of Monster Hunter fans have been crying for at least like the world part of it. I know with Sunbreak and Rise have sold a lot on Nintendo, and now it's pretty much on everything actually. I think
It'd be a new Ace Attorney game.
No way.
Thank God.
No.
We need another one.
They just remastered the last 3. Might as well add to the collection.
Is he major? I don't think he's major.
I love
He's
Ace
in the minor
Attorney.
leagues, I feel like.
Maybe. What about Mega Man? Didn't they just come out with something too?
They forgot about Mega Man. He's put in a drawer somewhere. He doesn't exist.
After 11, I think they were like, we're good for a while.
We're
I didn't even know there was 11.
Oh my god! I mean, unless it's like a Mega Man X game, then be like, here you go. But like, I don't know. It has to be Monster. I don't know what else they make that's not. I can't think of any other title that they will consider major. So unless it's Ghost Detective or something.
What the heck?
So, all right, here is the great debate. Jeff Keighley, we're doing your job for you. All right, so you got to thank us with some tickets to the show. Thank you very much. And game of the year. So I figured, we'll just throw out our own predictions. The nominees will be coming out mid-November around that time. Sammy, what is, we'll just say one by one. What game do you think will be a game of the year nominee, I guess? Just to keep this civil before we all choke each other out. Be like, no, what are you talking about? Why is this not on here? You're an idiot. Do you even play video games?
That no matter what we suggest, everyone's gonna agree. Is gonna agree because we've had some really good games this year.
That's true. That's true.
So it's just a matter of like, do they make the cut of the nominees? That's the thing.
All right. I guess I'll ask any indie darlings.
Ooh.
I think if there's going to be one, it's Sea of Stars and Sea of Stars only.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
And I'm saying that's a big if.
That is true. And it's 5. It's usually 5 games nominated, right? Is it? Or
6.
6? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So does Starfield make the cut?
I don't think Starfield's going to make the cut, to be perfectly honest. Maybe like number 6. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like everyone kind of forgot about it, like the week after it launched.
Let's go through like the ones that are like guarantee locks. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Are we all in agreement with?
Yeah. I think it's pretty high. It's pretty.
I don't know.
I was gonna start with Zelda at least.
Okay.
I mean, Zelda for sure.
I'm writing this stuff down.
I don't think there has been a 2D Mario that has been nominated for Game of the Year.
Until now.
For family game, yes. And for, I don't know, usually like in other categories, yes. Yeah. But I mean, was Odyssey, I know it was in, I think, Game of the Year, but
yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a 2D Mario that has been in the Game of the Year category.
I think
it's like, I think it's like, obviously, yeah, it's well deserved the spot that it's had this year alone. But I don't know. I'm thinking it might not make the top 6.
It's right now top 10 on Metacritic. That's all I just wanted to say. But go ahead, Sam.
Sure.
And hey, Tears of the Kingdom finally got beat out for that number one position, and that number one position's my pick right there, which is Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3. I think that is
Yeah.
a lock. I think for everybody. Yeah.
Where did it get beat out? That's what I wanted to know. It's tied.
But
They don't, like, here's the thing about nominating for. Sorry, actually, Sammy, you go ahead. You good?
well, I think it's just like the amount of reviews it receives too, right? So I think now Baldur's Gate has more than Tears of the Kingdom. So
You know how hard it is to get a review from Nintendo? Come on, it's not easy, Sammy.
It is very hard.
It ain't easy.
Here's the thing, like the nominee, or at least the jury aspect of nominating games for for each of the categories. It's not based on Metacritic. It's usually based like off of outlets and stuff like that. Like I know I can say like I am on the jury for the accessibility category, and it is not like. As far as I know, at least with our category, we don't base it off a Metacritic score. Right. So yes, it's a good barometer to see kind of like where potentially the Game Awards could be at, but just because it has like over however many X amount of reviews on Metacritic and getting a specific score, I don't think it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to make the top 10, because there's a few even top 10 in there for Metacritic that are previous releases, or just re-releases on a newer platform kind of thing.
Yeah, like Witcher 3, yeah.
Or Metroid Prime, Resident Evil 4.
Liberty or Phantom Liberty.
Phantom Liberty.
Yeah.
Even Xenoblade's number 7 on there. Like it's pretty wild. Now, do you think Street Fighter 6 will make it on there?
No,
Not
a chance.
Highest fighting game rating.
It's a fighting game.
Fighting for number one best game.
Like throwing punches, but
No, I probably would say Mortal Kombat instead of Street Fighter, but
there's not a chance. Like I'm not talking about like the quality of the game or anything, but just talking about like knowing the jury and going back to Steve's point of like this is just like personal preference, personality based stuff. Usually racing games and fighting games, they just kind of get snuffed out.
Yeah,
that's just kind of
fair enough.
Unfortunately,
that's what happens.
Unfortunately, the thing. So,
this is just showing the quality of this year is like there's so many. Games
I think it probably is going to be Baldur's Gate 3 for sure, Tears of the Kingdom for sure,
Spider-Man 2
for sure.
Right.
I think Final Fantasy 16 will probably make that list.
It's definitely up there. Sure,
it's up there for a lot.
Do you think it's too late for Alan Wake 2 to make it in?
Nope.
No. The way that the cutoff date is mid-November.
Okay.
Yeah. But
it just depends on if it made the deadline of when the jury had to submit. Oops, sorry. Apparently my apartment buzzer was going off.
I love that though.
Love it.
Oh my gosh! Why
is Dave the Driver gonna make it?
I don't think so.
Dave would be an indie game. They would probably be an indie game. Sure. Yeah.
I'm thinking.
I don't think Final Fantasy will be in there.
I don't either. I think
really
this is
don't think
such
so.
A strong year that I think Final Fantasy is one that would get knocked
pushed
down.
out. Yeah.
Well, let's see. Okay, going through this: Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2.
Yep. I even put the Alan Wake in there, like how it's going right now.
Alan Wake, probably.
I think Alan Wake.
So 2 more.
I think Starfield will make it.
Starfield,
just based on like popular opinion, I think enough people will say it was an ambitious game. It was Bethesda's big return. I think just based off like those pieces of criteria, it will get nominated. I'm not saying it has a chance of winning, but I think it will make it.
It's also Xbox's biggest game for the year. I think that's a good sign that it could be.
Also, you can just close your eyes and see like the Jeff Keighley, the live performance, the band playing the Constellation set. It's right there. It writes itself.
Yeah.
So then who's the last spot?
I don't see. Okay, I'm going to say something ridiculous, and I love Starfield. I love Starfield and all, but I feel like that'll be like a paid spot. I'm saying it right now. I feel like
it's a politics.
Xbox wouldn't do that.
No, because I think there's another Xbox game that deserves to be on there. That's Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush was
game of the year though.
Oh, 100%. Hi-Fi Rush had
Diablo. That's it.
Get that out of here. They broke that game. That game is.
I'm with you, Mark.
Get that trash out of here. get
Doesn't
it
matter
out.
if they broke it.
People love it.
It was the reviews. Everyone is loving it. Everyone is back now for the DLC, for especially like that just dropped
Halloween,
for Halloween. It's like Diablo is definitely, I would say, high up there for potential.
This is the
game
first
of the year.
time I'm hearing about Diablo from anyone's mouth in months. I'm just letting you know right now. I haven't heard about it whatsoever, and Hi-Fi Rush has come back.
Have a recency bias. You totally have a
No,
recency bias.
I even wrote about Diablo.
I'm right there with you. I've spent an inordinate amount of time with Diablo this year, and I will still say, like, the drop off is real. I don't see the hype anymore, and I feel like maybe it's recency bias, maybe it's not. But I think that when you're looking at submitting your nominees and everything, people are going to look at season 1 and season 2 and the bad reflection it might have.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing about the drop off. The same thing about Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody
fair.
talk about that
That's
for
fair.
months.
Oh, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Totally fair,
I'll
Steve.
give you that.
Like basically,
Yeah.
as soon as Baldur's Gate dropped, it
Yep.
was like, forget Tears of the Kingdom. It's all
it is.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate with all the Baldur's Gate with all the sexual content. That's why people are liking you sickles. All the sex you can have in the game.
If I wanted that,
That's
I would
right.
say Genshin Impact would be my number one.
The true waifu game.
Yep. Yeah.
1000%. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
For me, I just think Hi-Fi Rush deserved, because Hi-Fi Rush is also the first one that just kind of set the year's tone.
I don't
as
disagree
well.
with you.
No pun
100%
intended.
Don't
Like,
disagree with you. Like, I think it is an amazing game. It was released in the best way possible. It had such high hype going into it, and it is a really great game.
Didn't you also say, especially for accessibility as well, too, right?
Sure. I mean, yeah, accessibility for sure. I mean, that was
was right off the bat.
Insight into that. It was the hardest to be able to come up with the top 5 this year, because normally with the past few years, it's always been like a struggle just to try to be able to figure out, okay, what can actually be nominated for. We had to try to come up with 5 accessible games. How do we even make that happen? But this year's the first year that I'm like when I submitted my nominations, I'm like, I could probably see about 3 or 4 games that I did not put in my top 5 that could potentially make this list. It's a great, I agree with you. Hi-Fi Rush is a great game, but I think it got surpassed by a lot of better games.
Fair enough.
That's why I'm saying
I'm putting an asterisk
Diablo,
next to it.
I think it's Diablo. I think it's Final Fantasy. I think it's Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate, Starfield, and Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
That would be that'd be the 6.
The funniest part is, like, I think we can all agree there's probably like four for sure locks. Like, there's no doubt about it. But then everything else, like, I'm talking like Forza Motorsport could.
Oh yeah,
there's a world where that could
Finally,
be up there.
Yeah.
I mean, like 2023 has been so good that, I mean, Resident Evil's not going to make it. Dead Space isn't going to make it. Fallen Order's not going to make it. Lies of P is not going to make it. Armored Core 6 is not going to make it.
So
Like, I'm
sad.
talking like games that in any other year they would be game.
They
of
would
the year
be totally in this list.
100%.
2023 is so strong that we're just like, oh yeah, there's too many good.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah, Jedi Survivor came out too.
Jedi Survivor, yeah, thank you.
I feel like there's too many problems in Jedi Survival at like launch, so I think that kind of.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
but only on PC, so who cares?
No, it was also on console as well. It was pretty bad
Didn't
on.
have as nearly as
Xbox
many
was pretty
issues on
rough.
console
It
as everyone
couldn't
seemed to have
even
on
get.
PC.
You could barely get 30 on that. So
Trying to play 60 frames per second on that game was an experience.
yeah. Do you think do you think they should have a remake remastered category?
I think so. I mean, with the amount of games that have come out, I don't think
Dead
it's enough
Space,
to be able to fill.
Metroid, Resident Evil, those 3 are alone this year.
I just don't think it's consistent enough each year to
Yeah.
like warrant it. It's just kind of unfortunate because I
think that's it. It's just there's not enough to be able to nominate.
Because
But you're
I'm
right.
totally
I think
with
it
you.
should be one.
Yeah. Or even just have it like on a year where it's valid.
Well, actually,
Like,
wait, hold on. So we've got Dead Space, Resident Evil 4,
Yep.
Metroid,
Witcher 3.
Witcher 3.
This year there was a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. There was one. There was one more, right?
Ace Attorney collection.
Ace Attorney.
Yeah.
Oh, Metal Gear Solid. Oh no, actually, that's not really a remake.
And that's not getting any nominations.
That's
Let's
actually
Wait. Final Rebirth. Is that out? I can't remember.
no.
Not yet.
That's next year.
It's
Next
yeah,
year.
it's
Okay.
coming.
Bummer. I mean, technically, Cyberpunk kind of was remade in a way.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Cyberpunk,
Yeah.
That deserves
call that a
something.
remake.
Yeah. That's about good solid
They don't
5.
deserve it. That's what it should have been the whole time.
That's 1,000%,
Yeah.
yes. But
Just forgive them, man. Come on. They came back. They're a changed person. They went
They
through
did,
their
yeah.
steps.
yeah.
New year,
I'll watch
new
the
me.
anime.
Yeah,
that's it.
exactly.
I know. I think you're right, Steve. I think basically when it comes to game of the year, I think there's like a good solid 4 for sure. But any 2 games, like you could just fit into that slot, and it would make sense.
It
Like,
really does come down to who like the jury members were and how they felt that day.
This is the one year where I don't think that there is one solid lock for any category for this year. Like, I mean, other than maybe RPG for Baldur's Gate 3, but that's
I think
basically
Baldur's
about
Gate,
it.
it's just going to sweep.
It's gonna
to
sweep,
be
yeah,
honest.
It potentially
100%.
could. It potentially could, but I think it's like
I agree
don't.
with you.
But there's so many different games that are in this list that I think that are just that could be filled in each category. That I unless it's like extremely stacked in one favor, if you put even Starfield or no, actually wait, hold on. I mean, yeah, actually, if you put even the game of the year category, you could put any of those 6 that we mentioned, and 1,000%, like it'd be hard to be able to figure out. Like everyone will have an opinion as far as like what will actually win.
For sure. Yeah. No, definitely.
It's really going to come down to the votes, which is like for a change. That's actually kind of nice.
I'm glad I don't have to
Absolutely.
do it. So
No. I mean, it's fun to speculate on what the game of the game of the year will be, but I'm really excited for us to all get together and do like our personal game of the year.
Oh my god!
Because like
we're gonna break up, aren't we?
No, I think it's really fun to do.
Oh, yeah.
What Steve kind of said is like do like a ranking system where we all submit our picks and everything, and like I think that would be fascinating to kind of do like tally votes and stuff like that, because we all have like varying opinions and stuff that we have played. Because I know for a fact I would love Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't played it because I know I don't have the 100 hours until probably the end of December where I'm on break.
Listen, the tutorial's only 20 hours. It's fine.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I couldn't even get through 20 hours. So it was so hard to be able to keep playing. I had to be like, I'm going to stop. I need to, restart and respec. But
I know myself well enough, and I've known myself well enough this entire year that those 20 hours, I would know life to the point where I would never see grass again until I'm through those 20 hours. I was like, I need to just treat myself to that to the end of the year, or just
has the snow melted? Yeah, has the snow melted yet? Yeah. Okay. That's literally Alan Wake 1 and the first half of Alan Wake 2. You realize that, Sammy? One tutorial. That's insane.
As someone with like over 3,000 hours in Overwatch, sometimes you just gotta put the time in the games you love, And I'm not done Baldur's Gate 3 yet, and I have like well over like 100 hours.
Some say no one's done with Baldur's Gate 3. It's a game that just keeps on going.
I don't think I've actually seen anybody that any of my friends who have been playing it a lot that have basically have gotten to the end of Baldur's Gate 3, which is
I don't think there were credits in that game. They're just
You'll never see them.
Yeah.
Too busy with their relationships.
Unreachable.
That's all it is. You see, content.
Here's the thing too. I keep thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, at some point I'm going to be able to finally, go back and go through the backlog that was 2023 and play a bunch. But I'm like, 2024 is right around the corner. There's already some good games that look like are going to come out, and I'm like, fuck, I'm never going to get back to these games.
And then the year kicks off with Final Fantasy, doesn't it? Or
yeah, it does.
Final Fantasy and a couple other
big
games.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. I don't know. Good luck, Jeff, and your committee as well. That's what I gotta say. There's definitely a lot of good games
Jeff
out there.
has been very adamant that it's never like he never decides. It is up to the jury. So it's he has no sway over anything unless he wants to bring out Kojima.
Well,
again.
I hope the only decision that he does make this year is to have security. Yeah, that's
my
only wish.
I will be your security, Jeff.
Some sort of red rope by the stairs, with a bouncer, and he's like, "Hey, you guys in the studio? Okay, you guys can come up and
no public tickets on the main floor, just developers and creators or media people. Like that's it. Like
please,
and have
just
everyone
do
else
yourself
in
the favor. Jeff. That's all I ask. And, acknowledge some Canadians. Those are my two asks. Maybe acknowledge
your
where
own
you came from.
country.
From your own country,
Yeah.
people.
Not only that, your own city. We're all like down the road. We're all like down the road from each
Acknowledge
other.
us who grew up in your hometown,
Come
or
on.
home city, and prioritize your own safety by having some bodyguards and stuff.
And also acknowledge how the effect of the industry has been this year for developers. But that's all.
Yeah,
That's all we
big
gotta
ask.
ask.
I mean, yeah,
That's a big. I mean,
like
he did
it's
call
the
out
big
Kotick
secret.
that one year, so it's
and
not.
then he immediately was like, "Hey, Call of Duty is a pretty cool game. Hey, let's run an ad." So let's. I'm not going to hold him to the fire because I know better at this point.
Yeah. Hey, I would also like to say I would like to see a female host as well. I mean, that's not on
I would
At
there.
least a
that.
female on stage, other than he
something?
always has Sydney Goodman.
Who knows?
that's
Is she
usually-
even in the same building? Like, who knows where she's going?
No,
coming
she's
from?
always there. Like, she's always
I know
there.
she's always the guy sat.
Yeah.
She was behind me one time when I was sitting in front that where when
Hey,
I went
Jeff,
that
if
one
you
year.
just want
That
someone to
platform.
like stand on the stage, Jeff, I'll just stand on the stage for you. I won't talk. I'll just stand there.
Get our friend Camille. Just saying.
It's fine.
Just saying. There's many options.
Now let's check in with our mandatory female inclusion.
Listen, I
I hope it says mandatory.
I'm bisexual, black, and female. I got.
There you go.
three
You check off several
representation.
inclusion boxes.
Jeez.
Here's the Game
Your,
Awards. You
your
asked
ticker's
for
gonna
it,
be
you got it.
scrolling,
Segment.
Sammy, with all your name is right there. Bisexual black woman reporting
I'm
it.
just saying, all of us watched the Apple event the other night. They had more inclusion on that 30-minute show than the entire show, both shows of Jeff Keighley's. Just saying.
Even the laptop.
you got-
Just saying. I'm just saying. Even the
Yeah.
laptop. Even the laptop. even the laptop was black. Just saying. Just throw that out there. Even though it's $10,000, they were still black, baby.
That was great.
That was a very good one.
Steve, I'm sorry. What are you gonna say after that? Poor Steve's like, oh, I
I don't even know anymore. That was way too good of a bit. It doesn't even matter.
$10,000 for that, by the way. What the hell?
Hey, it can run Mist,
yeah,
guys.
for like fully
Did you
specced
see
out.
it run
Yes.
Mist?
I could play Baldur's Gate.
Oh, you can
3
play
on it,
Mist.
guys.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Oh my god! Where did they come up with these
But
prices?
here's the thing: I didn't even catch this until at the end. The entire thing was shot on an iPhone.
Yes,
It was. But did you
And
see
edited
the
on the
behind
Mac.
scenes?
Scenes behind the scenes. It's
Yeah.
like basically they just took out the
It's like a
camera
Marvel
out of
production,
all their
yeah.
equipment, but
Yeah.
Exactly.
still,
Yep.
shot on an iPhone. That's pretty cool.
and edit on the Mac. Just letting you
And
know.
edit on the Mac.
And on a Mac, yeah. That's that's a mic drop, like like a literal mic drop. It's like, oh man, this looks great. Shot on an iPhone.
Yeah.
Damn.
At night, it was pretty cool.
At night, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad they're bringing back the color iMacs back as well. Like, reminds me of
Oh, yeah, they look good.
the TV tube days that they used to have. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
The
pretty
colors
cool.
definitely look good. That space black though, the MacBook Pro.
It looks really
Ooh,
good.
yeah,
It looks
I
really,
know.
really good. 48
Yeah, 'cause
cores? Jesus Christ. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sam. Go ahead.
I was just say I've never been like the space gray person. Like mine's rose gold because I have the Air. But I love the black. It's a really good look.
That black looks solid because we've seen space gray on a few of their like phones and stuff like that. And actually, is my iPhone a space gray? I think
They haven't had like another color besides space gray since
always
like the
forget.
plastic days.
For MacBook Pros. No, it's usually just whatever the main.
When I was in college,
This is space gray normally. Yeah. Oh yeah,
I
you
like
got one too,
the ugly dark purple, but
the
I
dark
just really
purple.
like
I actually
purple.
like the dark purple. That's the one I wanted, but this was the only one that was available.
I got blue, so that's what I
But
got.
supposedly with the new space gray and the MacBook Pros, it's like they actually went a few shades darker, which I'm like, oh, it just looks so good.
Yeah,
I've seen
and it's
pictures
got,
of
like,
it now. People at the event, I'm like, oh, I want
Smudge
it.
resistant, grease resistant for all you the sticky gamers out there. There's greasy little mitts,
It's funny, like, because now Resident Evil is out on iPhone and ray tracing. I'm like, where's this new MacBook? Like, where's Resident Evil on that? Can we play it on there? No, only on your phone.
Yeah.
So, who knows? One day.
Weird ecosystem.
Yeah.
Apple's something else. Sammy, what's going on for your week?
I'm probably writing more articles. Streaming a little bit. I still have to finish Mirage. I'm doing it really slowly, but it's because I'm only streaming it. And it seems like I'm jumping into Alan Wake 1 as soon as I can so I could hurry up and
Let's
play
go.
Got another
Join
one.
the cult.
Yeah.
The Allen
Cult
cult.
of the trees.
Steve Saylor, how about you?
Well, I'm gonna keep trying to play more, Alan Wake 2. We'll see how far I can get in that. But I'm also gonna be writing my writing a review for Games Radar on Alan Wake 2. Hopefully, I'll be able to get that out before the end of the week.
Awesome.
And actually, there might be some other stuff like outside of social media that you might see me on. I can't say which as of yet until I'll talk to you guys after the recording. But anyway, yeah. So we'll see.
Steve's going on tour. All right.
Love it.
Steve, how about you?
Today I published my review for the Dyson Solar Cycle light. If you guys are interested in a floor light, it's pretty cool. It's expensive, but it's very neat. And then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is just around the corner. The campaign early access is launching, so I'm going to be doing a review and content for that. And then I think next week we're going to be doing even more Spider-Man content. So I'm very excited to be talking more about that game. But yeah, it's and then it's holiday gift guide season. I got a bunch of people diving into those DMs and inboxes being like, hey, let's chat. So putting together that.
I'm very, very excited for that. Yes, Spider-Man. We're gonna be talking about more Spider-Man in depth. Some spoilers.
It's the spoiler episode.
The spoiler episode. I want to give you
Yes.
guys a little heads up and everything about Spider-Man. I don't think anything will be happening in gaming. Hopefully not. Too much that we could just fully dive into it as well. As for me, I just wrote a review on Star Ocean Second Story R. I had to blitz through that one. That was like a 30-hour game. I'm like, I want to play more, but but the embargo comes out actually a couple hours after this episode airs. So overall, it's a fantastic game. Highly recommend if you're a Star Ocean fan or if you just want a JRPG fan. Definitely dive into the game because it's a really fun, adventurous game. It brings back the artwork from the previous game. Or even the voice actors, which by the way, there's a lot of great voice actors from anime from this one. From one like Evangelion, the voice lead is on there. Gohan is from Dragon Ball's in this game as well. Some top-notch voice acting in this game. So highly recommend if you like a 2D, 2.5D Octopath style game. Which by the way, they brought up the level. Octopath looks amazing, but this one alone, I'm like, they brought it to a whole nother level. So definitely check out that review that I wrote out there. So, and that's pretty much it. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.